You're listening to Business Lunch with Roland Frasier. This is your seat at the table.
Hey everybody, Roland Frasier here with Business Lunch. Welcome to the show, and I'm very excited today to have a really cool guest. His name is Clint Salter, and he is the founder and CEO of the Dance Studio Owners Association. And he's got, I'll let him tell you how many, but it's a really cool business he's built. Clint, will you kind of give us a brief overview of where you are now and what you're doing?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Roland. So we have about over 35,000 now dance studio owners that we work with through our programs and our trainings. It's incredible because there's only about 80,000 dance studios in the English-speaking countries. So we have quite a few of them. And, you know, our main mission is to help our studio owners go from being a dance teacher to the CEO of their studio. So our focus is around the business aspect of building their studio. So from student attraction to retention, finance, leadership, operations. We don't give them the lesson plans that they teach their students in class. We work on the business side of things because they're the creative experts. And so we want them to work in their zone of genius. And then we just want to help them plug those gaps that they have when it comes to systems and processes.
That's fantastic. And how did you get into that? Were you a professional dancer or a dance instructor?
So, you know, I was 16 and I had a crazy idea with my friend to open up a dance studio.
You did? Okay. That's
awesome.
Awesome.
So I'd been dancing since I was 9, and the studio that I was learning from, she ended up selling her business to someone else. And a whole bunch of parents came to me. I was student teaching at the time, and they were saying like, why don't you open a dance studio? You know, I was 16, living at home, didn't have to pay rent, nothing to lose. And I was like, and I didn't know anything either. I think that's a great thing when you start a business, your first one, you don't know anything. You think it's going to be incredible and amazing, and you'll be rolling in money, and it'll be nice and easy. So yeah, Kelly Lee and I jumped into it at 16, and I started the dance studio and sold my half to her after 5 years, and then went on this journey of being an agent for TV and media personalities, and then working on Jersey Boys the musical. And then 6 years ago, started DSOA and really zoning in, working with dance studio owners exclusively. Because before that, for about a year, I was kind of like helping everyone. Anyone really that had the money and wanted new customers, from gyms to lawyers to graphic designers. I was helping everyone, but dance was my background. And I started having a lot of studio owners come to me, say, can I help? Can I help? And I was like, yeah, of course I can help. I've been doing this for years. And then, 6 years ago, I was like, I'm just going to work with dance studio owners. I'm going to give it a year and I'm going to see how it goes. And I've never looked back, and never, worked with anyone else outside of industry. I'm purely focused on our studio owners, which is awesome.
So now, did you, that was a decision to do an association for dance studio owners?
It was. So it actually started with a 12-week program called Studio Success Formula, which I sold from a webinar. And about a year later, what I had with that program, what it was a home study. You could buy it for $5.99, or you could buy it for $3.99 plus $47 a month, and you got support. And so that $47 a month, we called it the VIP program, turned into what is now our association membership.
Okay. And did you know at the time, had you done webinars and stuff like that before? How did you get into that?
No. So I had absolutely no idea. So what happened was I ended up working with about 140 one-on-one clients in 2013 and 14. And I was burned out, and I was sick of answering the same question. You know, I'd get on a one-on-one call, I'd be like, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what? Everyone's got the same challenges. I'm telling everyone the same thing. There's got to be a better way to do this. There's got to be a more scalable way to do it. And I did some research, and I came across Brendon Burchard and his Total Product Blueprint program. And within that program, there was a section on how to build and sell an online course.
Mhm.
I literally went through the course step by step by step. And I built the program in that, on that first webinar, I made $5,000. And I was like, I rang my mum, I was crying. I was beside myself because I was just so happy that I presented for like 90 minutes and I sold the program.
Right.
And I was like, kind of like, it was like this big kind of explosion in my brain of like, wow, like there's something here. This could be really interesting.
Now, what were so that started you out, and you had now, did you say you had 140 people that came in through that?
So that was the one-on-one. So I did 140 one-on-one clients, and that initial, in those first few months of Studio Success Formula, we had like a couple of hundred people do it, but I was like just doing a webinar like every couple of weeks. And then you keep doing that. You're like, hang on a minute, there must be a better way to do this. So the journey was always, there must be a better way to do this. There must be a better way to do this. And I just kept seeking out people who were doing awesome work and saying, you look like you've got it figured out. Tell me more.
That's the way to do it, right? That's every time you see somebody really killing something, it's like, you got to get to talk to them and figure it out.
100%.
So what would you say, now you go from a few hundred people to 35,000. What were the major things that made that happen, both in terms of growth and in terms of scale? Growth meaning how you get those people in, but also scale, how do you handle that many people without going nuts?
Yeah, definitely. So, we just had our 6th birthday. So it's been 6 years. Yeah. The first thing that has been really valuable is we've always done launches and challenges. So we've always delivered free training to get people into our paid programs. And we have done anywhere from 4 launches a year to 2 launches a year. We're now into 2 launches a year for our 8-week programs. We now have 2 8-week programs.
Okay.
And those challenges have really built our list. When you do a challenge, what I love about a challenge or a launch, however you want to sell your program, is it creates a lot of groundswell and it creates a lot of excitement and enthusiasm for the message and what you're teaching. And so with ad spend, with our podcast, with our free Facebook group, with these things that we've built, we promote that to our community with some of the partners we work with. We promote these challenges to get a few thousand people into these free challenges, which builds our list, which gets people really excited. And I teach, like in a challenge, I teach 2 hours every day for 5 days. I do an hour of training and an hour of answering questions. There's a workbook. We don't charge for this. We deliver massive amounts of value. And then we make the offer for those people that want more to join us in one of our 8-week programs. And then from there, we have our inner circle program. So once they've done 8 weeks with us, if they want to continue the journey, there's an opportunity for them to apply for our inner circle program.
What's the difference, just for people that are listening, between a launch and a challenge?
Yeah, so it's basically the same thing. So some people call them launches, some people call them challenges. We've done a launch for a program before, or our association, where it may be a set of interviews. So it's like not me training, we bring members in and we just do interviews. Or for instance, we once did a launch, which was a 24-hour marathon of our content, right? We did a live stream of our content for 24 hours. We've done a summit, we've done a summit once that had 35 speakers over 10 days. And we've also done a summit that had 11 speakers over 1 day. So a launch for me is anything that delivers value, where you can hopefully get people to that next stage and working with you. And sometimes it's challenges, it's webinars, it's summits, it's anything that delivers value and builds your list.
Okay, and then is a challenge then something like how does that differ?
Our challenge, I'll walk you through our challenge model. So our challenge model that we've been doing for 5 years has definitely evolved. So the one that we did recently, what it looked like was 2 weeks of quick 15 to 20 minute Facebook Lives with me, Monday to Friday. So for 10 days. And during those 2 weeks, we were promoting the free challenge. So this is like the free training leading up to the free training, right?
Okay.
So it's,
all right.
it's 10 days of Facebook Lives, 15 to 20 minutes, where I am teaching different concepts all around student attraction, enrollment, and retention.
Is there a goal during those things? Like what is the challenge part? Is it like, hey, if we're going to go through this and then you're going to accomplish something, or how does that work?
100%. So in this first piece though, it's just teaching different concepts, and we're promoting for them to register for the challenge.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
So it's 2 weeks of free Facebook Lives to promote the challenge that's happening in week number 3.
Got
and
it.
So
And
so the promise of week number 3, which is the actual challenge when it's happening, Monday to Friday, we do the challenge. It's 2 hours every day, an hour of training at 12 p.m., an hour of Q&A at 4 p.m. And we have a workbook that's a full workbook that they fill out. And I essentially every day go through a workbook and fill in the gaps for them. So they have a workbook that has empty different
Spaces.
things and teasers in there.
Got it.
And we really, my premise around our challenge is to give you clarity on how you can move forward in attracting, enrolling, and retaining new students for the new season. That was our promise for this challenge, because we're about to jump into a new dance season.
Nice. And is it so is that the main thing that they're after is, how do I get more clients, more customers?
Yeah. So the number one challenge our audience has is, how do I attract new students?
Perfect. And now, if you were starting this thing again today, it wasn't 6 years of experience, but you have the 6 years of experience in your mind, but you just don't have everything built up. What would you do differently?
Look, to be honest with you, the one thing that springs to mind is I would have hired our operations director a lot sooner.
Okay.
We hired an operations director a year and a half ago, and it has been an absolute game changer for our business. It has been a lifesaver for me personally, not having to straddle both the operation, the COO and the CEO role. Right. Because, I'm very upfront. Like, I didn't start this business to manage a big team. Like, I have no desire to have a team of 100 or 200 people. I love our little lean, tight team and the impact that we can make. So that would be the biggest lesson from, you asked before about kind of like scaling and growth. Building a team has had a huge part of the growth that we've been able to have, but that also, growing the team has been the biggest challenge that we've had as well.
Yeah. So that would be, let's say you're starting from scratch and you don't have the cash to hire that person immediately, that's high on your list. What would you do to get started? You've identified your market, and you've got some experience there or some knowledge, or have a partner that does, or whatever. How do you kick that business off now?
Yeah, totally. So if I had, I'll do 2 scenarios. If I had a bit of money, I'd definitely be putting that money into my ad spend, right? Okay. I would be doing it to buy leads. First and foremost, once you've got your market, you've got your positioning, you understand your market, and you know what they really want, right? I know without a doubt, our dance studio owners, the top thing that they want is how to attract new students. Like, that is their top desire. And we talk about that probably about 70% of the time. Although we do a whole bunch of other things for our market, we know that that's a great way to bring people in. So understand who your target market is and niche down. Everyone has heard this, but people are still so afraid to pick a niche and dive really deep into that niche, and then serve them deeply, really deeply. And so understand what they want. So if you've got the positioning piece, you've done that, don't go out and do the photo shoot and get the new website and spend, all of your money on that. You don't need to do that, right? You need a landing page and you need great positioning, and you need to be able to help people, have a solution that people really want, throw some money at it and start doing webinars to call applications or ads to book a call with you, and get on the phone and talk to your customers. Too many people, and a lot of people come to me for advice in different, in different industries. And they're like, oh, in the webinar and I need my 8-week course. And I was like, no, you just need to talk to people. You need to get on the phone and sell your program or sell your consulting. And as soon as you sell it, then you figure it out, right? Because you will figure it out when you work with people. Like I did 140 one-on-one clients, in a year. That's how I built my online program. I just didn't like come up with an online program or go through a course on what I need to teach. Like I spoke with people, and I feel like it's something I don't see a lot of happening at the moment. And so I would say get some ads going, get on the phone and talk to people, and start selling a higher end consulting or coaching package. Work one-on-one for 6 to 12 months, then look at a group model.
How do you keep that fresh? So what do you do now? Are you still hopping on those, 100 and some calls a year? Or, how do you do that now?
Yeah, so it looks a little different. Sales and marketing were the last things that I let go of. And when I say let go, I don't mean like, good luck guys, off you go. I mean that I'm not doing it myself. I'm not jumping on the call. I still do. I still like to do a few during our intakes of our program so that I don't lose touch with what's going on. I think that's important, but I need other people. We have a sales team that run these calls now, and it doesn't work if it's me. And I'm not good at like doing the same thing all the time. I'm like coming in and going, I'll take a couple of calls. And so, we've got people now that do that. And so that I don't need to keep that piece fresh. I just need to keep them fresh and feeling creative and like they have and involved in the process.
And is there a process for getting their, from getting their talking to the ultimate customer back to you to help create products?
So most of our product creation comes from our customers, our current customers. So we are, my members would tell you I'm a feedback junkie. Like I just sent an email on Sunday to our Inner Circle members saying, hey guys, I'm working on season 6 of the Inner Circle. So we work in like a TV show. So we're going into season 6 of the Inner Circle. I was like, hey guys, I'm working on season 6. What is missing from your Inner Circle experience? Like what would make this like the most mind-blowing experience for you? And I sent them an email, and there was no Google form. There was no Survey Monkey. It was like me just sending an email to 164 members in the Inner Circle to say, tell me what you think, be honest. And they were so honest because we actually do stuff with their feedback. We create programs from their feedback. We change our events. We bring in different speakers. We adapt our experience for them. I say to them all the time, like our best ideas are just your ideas that you shared with us. Your customers tell you what they want. You just need to make sure you listen to them and then deliver it to them in a way that generates them results.
How did you find your ops person, and how would you set about doing it now if you were one-man show right now about to kind of do that first big step?
Yeah, so it took us about 6 months. I'd brought on like project managers before. I'd brought on like part-time operations people. I'd never fully committed to like a full-time operations person. And I got to the point where I was like, okay, here are my goals. To get to them, I need someone that's full-time in operations, or my team are going to leave me because I'm just going to be a nightmare to work with. If I'm trying to grow it and do all of the things, I'm not going to be the best version of myself. So it took about 6 months. My process was really going through the book Who is a great book because it talks about scorecards. And so I created a scorecard for our operations director. I essentially, it was like 14 days to 3 weeks, I did time tracking of my time and worked out, okay, what do I do during a day? A time audit is like the best thing you can do when you're looking at hiring someone. And so I did that time audit to work out what am I doing? And then, Dan Sullivan has a great exercise, unique ability. And so it's like going through and working out, okay, I hate doing that. I love doing that. I'm really good at that. I suck at that. And so you get a great list of things, and then you start pulling things across. Okay, what would be in this operations director role? And from there, you kind of come up with a position description. And then you want to create a scorecard. And so it's all written in the book, Who. If you just Google Who scorecards, you'll see the template.
That's Jeff Smart, Geoff.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great.
And that scorecard is then great when you go through your hiring process and get to the point of doing those initial phone interviews. And you're going through and asking questions and like ticking them off and giving them different ratings. And so that's how the process. We have a hiring funnel that we teach with our inner circle members, and I just followed the hiring funnel that I had built for them that I've used for many years. And went through that process. We get a video for everyone. We get them doing some test tasks. We then go through 3 rounds of interviews. I did lunch interviews as well, so spent 2 to 3 hours with our top 3 or 2 candidates. I was very heavy, and that's why it took 6 months. I was very heavily invested in this person, and she has been fantastic. A great addition to the team, and has allowed me to continue focusing on the experience, our marketing, and having a great life outside of DSOA as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. What so if you were saying, like, in terms of who to expand with first, operations would be your first choice?
Yeah, so you can do that with a really great executive assistant. So I would be looking at a fantastic, and a lot of people I kind of brought on originally were executive assistants, but there's something about a full-time team member. And I know that is really scary for people, but I have loved bringing members of our team on full-time, because you've got the majority of their week, and there's a different level of investment and commitment and energy that is brought in with full-time team members. Now, we have a few full-time team members, and we have quite a few core contractors. So they're still part of our core team, but they might work 10 to 20 or 10 to 15 hours a week, but they're specialized team members. So Facebook ads, funnels, copywriter, Infusionsoft person. Like, they're not generalists. Our full-time team members are more generalists than they are specialists, because we don't have enough work to hire a specialist in a specific area. Okay. And so that's kind of how we look at generalists and specialists inside of the business.
Got it. Okay. That's really cool. Where do you go next? What is, because you've got a pretty significant chunk of the market, sounds like almost 50% of an 80,000 business market.
Yeah, they're not all buying from us yet though. So there's more, there's more work to do there. I definitely want to grow our inner circle program, which is where I spend about 80% of our time. That's our higher level studio owners that get events, weekly coaching. We have coaches as well that do one-on-one calls. We bring in amazing people. Roland, you've been on and presented to our inner circle members before. And so I really want to keep innovating with that coaching program. And I do every year. Like I said, season 6 is coming up. And that's how I stay fresh, is I innovate that program. So it doesn't stay the same every year. I'll pull things out of it. I'll add things in. Depending on where the members are at and what they've told us that they need, I get to have fun. Well, I get to have fun a lot, but once a year I get to have a lot of fun and kind of dream up what does this incredible program look like as we go into the next year. So there's opportunity within a circle, and there's a lot of opportunity with our association. It's a $47 a month membership. We have 1,100 members in that program at the moment. And there's opportunity in our 8-week programs. We take about 500 students through our 8-week programs. We have 2 of those each year. And we just had our biggest launch actually in August with our student attraction intensive, which was incredible.
That's awesome.
And they've been the most delightful group of people to work with. I'm having such a great time. And we want to share that with more people as well. So there's still a lot of work for us to do in this industry. And our audience is just incredible, right? And I think that's one of the things that has kept me in this for 6 years. I usually, like year 4 and 5 in a business, I'm a bit like, get me out of here. But it's been different with DSOA. And, I think part of that is just being involved in an industry that is really changing the world and that has such committed and passionate individuals that are running these businesses really, really helps.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, before we go, would you tell people how they might best get a hold of you to learn more, to follow you, do the cool things you do? Yeah,
sure. You can just go to dsoa.com, and that will give you all the information about what we're doing, maybe inspire you to start a dance studio. But if you do have any questions for me, you can find me on social media. Happy to help any way that I can.
That's awesome. And the podcast, you have a podcast as well, right?
We sure do. So that's been going for 6 years, every week for 6 years. Nice. Transform My Dance Studio. You don't hear me on the podcast though anymore. We have co-hosts and we do different seasons with different people to keep it fresh and exciting. And so, it's awesome. So take a listen.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being on, and I'm excited to see what you're doing as you go forward.
Thanks, Roland. Always a pleasure.